There are lots of videos on social media showing this amazing spinning wine glass trick, where you can turn the wine glass upside down without the wine falling out. So I thought I'd make a video to explain the physics of it. To get it to work, you need to add a small amount of wine, or I used squash, to the glass, and then I find it easiest to spin it up to speed using one finger at the base. Once it's spinning at a good speed, you can turn it upside down and the wine won't come out. However, if you leave it upside down for too long, then you'll notice that as the wine glass slows down, the wine works its way down to the bottom of the glass and it comes out making a bit of a mess, although it is rather pretty. To understand the physics of what's going on, let's consider a slightly simpler problem where we replace the wine with a small polystyrene ball. Once again, when we turn it upside down, the ball doesn't fall out and just goes round in a circle at the same speed as the glass. Let's pause the video and draw a force diagram or free body diagram to work out what's going on. And I think there are three forces which are acting on the polystyrene ball. To keep the diagram simple, I'm going to draw all the forces acting from the centre of the ball, even though they won't all actually act at that point. So first of all, we have the weight force, which is acting down. Then we have the normal contact force of the glass on the ball, which will be acting at 90 degrees to the wall of the glass. Finally, we have the friction force, which will be stopping the ball sliding down the glass. If we add all of these forces together as vectors, which involves putting them tip to tail, we can then draw a vector arrow from the very beginning to the very end, which will give us the resultant force. As you can see, this resultant force acts towards the centre of the circle that the ball is going round, and it provides a so-called centripetal force, which keeps the ball moving round in a circle. Although on the face of it, with the liquid it's much more complicated than with the ball, what we see happening when we turn it upside down is that the liquid spreads out and forms a thin layer over the surface of the glass, which moves round at the same speed of the glass. And in that case, it's really not that different to the ball. But as we turn it back, it starts to flow in a much more complicated way, which is beyond the scope of this video. Anyway, I hope I've given you a bit of a better idea about how this spinning wine glass trick works, and that you enjoyed the video.